Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third installment of our income statement. In the last video, we had created a manually we created a table for date range. Okay, very basic table. Okay, we had a range ID as an auto number. We had just two fields. We had a from field set to date and time, and a to field from date and time as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is we're going to actually create the form itself for the date range. So with everything closed once again and the date range table highlighted, we will go to create and back to our form wizard. Now we don't want to pull over the range ID. The only thing we need here, guys, is the from field and the to field. That's it. We'll choose next. And we're going to put this in a datasheet view. We'll choose next again. And we'll call this report generator. Report generator form. And we'll finish. I'm going to close this tab, and it looks as if my form is opening up in the datasheet view, which we don't want. So if this happens to be the case with you as well, this is all we need to do. So I'll now open up the form that I've just created, and with my property sheet menu showing up on the All tab, I'll go to the second row here where it says Default View, and just simply change it from datasheet to single form. And then I'll go back to the tab. I will right click and save, close it, and then reopen it again to see that it opens up correctly. Okay, and there we go. Now I'm going to do a little bit of modification here. I'm going to go into design view. And I'm just going to highlight my text, and I'm going to sort of model this after my income statement. There we go. And I'm going to create some room at the bottom here. So not this solid black line, but the sort of the clear invisible one at the top. I'm just going to drag this down because we're going to be putting a button here. And also I'm going to just create a little bit of room here. So I'll highlight these fields, use my directional arrow key and just move it down a bit. Okay. The other thing I would like to do, let me just center this a little better, is I'm going to, just for effect, I'm just going to draw a rectangle or a box around those two fields. So I'm going to go to Form Design, and from my controls, I'll select this arrow here. I'll grab the rectangle box. I'm going to just draw a box, and this is just for aesthetics. Draw it around here. There we go. And from Format now, I will select black text 1, and then I want the line to be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here where it says line thickness. Let me just choose this option here, this 2-point line. Okay. And then I'm going to highlight my fields because I'm going to want these to show up in a black text as well. Black. Now I'm going to save it and flip back to form view. Okay, maybe I'll just stretch that out a little bit further. It's a little larger. I'll make this black as well. Yep. Or thicker. Maybe about there. There we go. Save. And I'm going to create a little more room here. There we go. And just take one more quick look at it. Okay, that's fine for now for this demonstration. I just wanted to give it some sort of aesthetic appeal. Now, now that we've got the form created, what we need to do now is we need to put a button on this so that the end user, when they're using this, they'll open up this form generator, they'll set their dates, and then they'll just hit the button and the report will appear. So we have to understand that in the your finished product or your finished software product, the end user is not going to see a report that says income statement. They're just going to see this report generator. And you can customize this, as I mentioned in the previous video, in the first video, part one. You can add all kinds of different reports and put all these buttons on here and set the dates. And as long as everything's linked, it will work. All right, so let's go to design view. And let's draw a box under here. So we want to go to form design. And we'll choose this icon right here, right? It's the fourth one over from the left. That says button. So I'll click on there. And somewhere down here, I'm just going to draw a button. I'm going to cancel this. And I'm just going to type in here, generate report. And I'll highlight this. Okay, format it. I'll make the font a little larger so it jumps out. Maybe I'll try 12 point. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll make it bold. I'm going to make it white. And the background black. And I think I want to put a little bit of effect on it. So I'll go over here to shape effects, and you can use a glow, a shadow. You can use a bevel, and I'm going to use this one here, Riblet, but you can use whatever you like. Choose that. Now I'm going to right click and save. And now I want to put a macro. I want to put a command on this button so that when the end user hits it, something's going to happen. So with the button highlighted, I'm going to right click and choose build event. And we're going to use the macro builder. So far throughout the program, we use the code builder, expression builder. We're going to use a macro builder. We're going to select OK. Now we get this sort of this blank screen. So you can hit this drop-down menu and go all the way down and go through it, but I already know what I want. The function that I want on this button is to open a report. So I'll just start to type in open. And as soon as, whoops, get rid of that. Open, and as soon as I type in the letter R, it'll come up to open report. Hit tab, and you'll know you've chosen it correctly because as soon as you do that, the option will come up here. And the very first field says report name. So we'll go to the far right and we'll hit this drop down arrow and we want to go find the report that we wanted to open. And it's going to be our income statement. And that's all that you need to do to make this, this button function, okay? Once you've selected your income statement as the report to be open, we'll go to the top, we'll select save, and then close. Okay, I'm going to right click, save, right click, form view, and that's pretty much it, okay, for this particular application. So I'm going to close this now. And now what we need to do is we need to go into our applications, our queries for our revenue and our expenses. And here's where we put in the date. So it's going to go up to revenue app. I'm going to go to design view. And now in the very first available column, I'm going to click in there and I want to pull the date for my sales invoice. I'm going to click that. And now we have to do a couple of things here. On the row that says show, we're going to uncheck this button and remove that. Then we're going to click on the group by. We're going to change this to say where. Okay, so we're going to deselect the show and we're going to choose where. Now, very carefully on the criteria row right here, we're going to go across. Once we click in there and it's flashing, we'll go to builder. And we're going to type in between. And what we want to do now is we want to go to our form that we just built for the date range. So I'm going to go over here and expand my file. I'm going to go to expand my forms. Then I'm going to expand all forms. And then I want to find my report generator. There it is, report generator. And we want the date to go between from and to. So here's not the label from, so I'm going to double click from. Okay, then in uppercase letters, I'm going to type in and, A-N-D. And as soon as you type in and, you just want to tap your space bar one time. Okay, and then we're going to choose to right here. Okay, and that's sort of the miniature code that we're going to put into this. So you're manually going to type in between. You're going to go over here to the left in your expression elements. You're going to expand your file, expand the forms, and then you're going to select your report generator form. You're going to double click on the from, type in and, spacebar once, and then double click on to. Now, to save a bit of time and be efficient, what we're going to do is we're just, before we select OK, we are just going to highlight that little code now, Control-C to copy it, and then we'll choose OK. Now I want to go up, I want to right click and save that query. And again here, close it. And now go into the expense app. Okay, we're going to open this up. We will flip it over to design view. Select the first available column to the right. And we want to bring the date down from our accounts payable table. We want to bring down the bill date. Okay, then we want to unselect the show button. We're going to turn that off. And we're going to flip the group by to where. And then finally, in the row here that says criteria, I'm going to go across. I'm going to click in there to get my cursor flashing. Go up to builder. And then just paste in the formula, Control V. Okay. Once that's in there, I'm going to select OK. Then I'm going to right click and save. And then I'm going to close it. Okay. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we now want to merge our reports. So let's scroll down. And we may have to, because I don't think we can just open this now. Right, as expected. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's go to our report generator form. We'll put in the beginning and the end of September. Select generate report. And now our income statement comes up. So we know that it's working correctly. Okay, I'm going to show you that again. You'll open up your report generator, select your dates. Okay, and select report, generate report. Okay, now that we've got our income statement open, let's right click and choose design view. Okay, and what we're going to need to do now, we're going to need to create a little bit of space on here because we want to drag over, or rather copy our expense report. So we're going to go down to this bottom line right here, and I'm going to drag this down like this. There we go. And then I want to just take my expense report. And I'm just going to drag it over on top like that. Okay. I'm just going to move it over a little bit to the left here. There we go. Just got to find the tab on that. There we go. And just move it. We'll line it up a little bit better later. Now I'm just going to reduce the size of this a little bit. It's a little wide. Bring that in a little bit there. And now what I want to do is I want to select this top little square right here. Right, so we get this in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to select that. And what I want to do now from the property sheet is I want to go down here where it says scroll bars, where it says both. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to choose neither. I don't need those on there, okay? Then I'm going to highlight this label that says expense report. I'm going to go to format because I really want that to disappear. So I'm just going to color that white, and then now I don't see it anymore. Okay, let me right click and save, then right click and go to report view. Okay, so that's giving us a little bit of an idea now as to how this looks. There's my total expenses. Okay, so let's just kind of adjust things a little bit in here. I'm going to right click and go to layout view. Okay, I'm just going to move that up a little bit. And then I want to just move these over a bit to the left. There we go. Kind of line things up a bit. There we are. And I'm just going to reduce the width of these fields because we don't need them quite that wide. There we are. And I'm just going to, oops, got to finesse this a little bit. I just want to get my fields highlighted. There we go. And I'm just going to move these guys over just to align right there. There we are. Move my field over. And then I'll move my totals over as well. Okay, things are looking good. And I'm going to save. Okay, and I'm going to go back to design view. There we go. And highlight, format, shape outline, and I'm going to choose transparent. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce the size of the box a little bit. Go and then flip it back to report view to take a look at my changes. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, what I want to do at this point is I'm going to make some adjustments. I want to just nudge everything up just a little bit higher because at the very bottom is where we want to put our net income. So throughout the entire program that we've been creating, even with our, for example, our forms, especially our invoice forms or accounts payable, we want everything to show up on the end user's page or screen. So that everything contained within the module or the report is visible. We don't want people having to scroll up and down and see things. So I'm just going to make some minor adjustments here. So we'll put in our final fields. So I'm going to layout view. And we can create some room here. Okay, move those up just a little bit like so. That looks pretty good. And now I'm just going to tighten these up a bit. Like so. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Nudge it over. There we are. Okay, and let's save. And now let's go to design view. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of fields in here to put in our net income. Now to do that, we want to go to the report design, and we want to choose this box right here, the text box. So I'm going to click on that, and just, you know what, anywhere below here is fine. Just going to draw this on here, and we'll position these out a little bit later. And on the box on the left, if you recall, these are strictly that's strictly a label. So I'm going to put in net income. Okay, and I'm going to click on it, go to format. I'm going to want black text 1. I'll probably want a bold as well. Okay, then I'm going to click on the unbound box. And what I want to do here now is I want to go to the data tab on the property sheet. I want to go to control source, and I want to click on these 3 little buttons. And this is going to open up our expression builder. Now, essentially, what do we want to do here is we want to basically take the gross margin dollars minus the total expenses. So here is our access totals gross margins. Okay. Minus, now I want to go here. I want to expand my file on the left. Okay, there we are. Excuse me. And then I want to find my expense report. I'm going to go down to reports. I'm going to expand that. All reports. There's my expense report. And I want to find my access total expenses. Okay. Our access total expense amount. Okay. Now, what we're going to have to do is you'll notice here where it has minus reports, we need to eliminate the S on reports. So very carefully, I just want to get my cursor, click it in there. So it's sort of flashing between the T and the S, and then just hit my delete key once, just to get rid of that S. And then I'm going to choose OK. And then I'm going over here to format, click, and I want to choose currency. And then I'm going to choose the color. And I want to go bold, file, and save. And now, where did that go? Okay, so there's my net income down the bottom, but I'm going to make some adjustments here because I want to move this up so it can be seen. So I'm going to right click and go to layout view. Okay, and then I'm just going to adjust these. I may have inadvertently deleted those, so I'm going to probably have to go into design view and drag them. Yep, they're not quite appearing here. Just gotta finesse this a little bit. It should be okay. You go back to the layout view. All right, I'm just going to move everything up a little bit. So as I mentioned, the goal here is we just want to get everything visible. Okay, there we are. Okay. Emojis up a little bit further. There we go. Okay, I'm going to save and go to report view. Okay, so we're just about finished this. Let me just make another little adjustment here. Probably being a little bit more picky than perhaps I may be, but that's okay. So there we go. Just balance things out a little bit here. There we are. Okay, I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go report view again. Okay, so let's close this and let's try a couple of things now. So we'll leave it at the 1st and the 30th. We'll select generate report. And now everything is appearing nicely on one sheet. Okay, I'm going to flip this over now to design view. Okay, and essentially what I want to do now is I want to be able to put or install on my income statement. I want to put in the dates. Okay, so we're going to actually use the text box fields again. So, and we're going to put them up here at the top. So I'm going to, on report design, I'm going to choose the second item over that says text box. And right up somewhere here on the top, I'm going to draw one here. Okay, and in this box, we're just going to type in from. Okay, let me highlight that again. Go to format, select my font color. There we are. Same thing for the unbound box. We'll make that dark as well. And now what I want to do here is we are going to go over to the data tab while our unbound box is highlighted. And we'll go to the control source again. We'll open up our builder. Now we're going to type in equals, because what we're doing here is we want to tell this cell to go to the report generator form and grab the from date and pull a copy of it over onto here. So I'm going to type in forms. Okay, there's forms. I'm going to double click it. Okay, and then I'm going to put in an exclamation point so that I can get the menu of forms appear. And I'm going to scroll down now. And I want to find my report generator form, which is right here. There's my report generator form. And then I'm going to put in another exclamation mark because I'm going to want a list of the available items on that form. And I want the from date, not the from label, the from date. And double click. Okay. So we've got equals, forms, exclamation mark, find our report generator, explanation, and from. And I'm going to choose OK. And now I'm going to go back to my report design. I'm going to grab another text box, click on it, and somewhere over here on the right, I will draw another one. And on the label side, we're going to call this 2. Okay, let me highlight that again. Format, color. There we go. And the same thing with the unbound box. I'm going to format the color. Okay, and once again, with the unbound box highlighted, I'm going to go over the property sheet. From the data tab, go to control source and select the 3 buttons. Excuse me. I'm going to type in a similar thing. Equals forms. Let me click. Explanation. And find my report generator form. There it is. Double click on this. Explanation. And I want 2, not the label, the 2. Okay, and I'm going to select OK. I'm going to walk up the tab, right click and save. And right click and go to report view. And now you can see we have the from date and the 2 dates. So I'm going to go into layout view here now. And I'm just going to sort of center these guys in the middle of my report. And then hold down the control key. Maybe move this sort of right over here and then grab my label my to label. Bring that over, and then my to date. I don't need it quite that wide. Let's reduce the size of it. That'll allow me to move it over a bit. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to right click, save, and close. Okay, so we're going to test this out completely. So we've got September 1st to the 30th. I'm going to generate the report. Everything is showing up. My title, my from September 1st, September 30th, revenue, cost of goods, gross margin, all our expenses, our total expenses, and our net income at the bottom. Now let's just modify the date range again and make sure that the to date is in fact changing and that the results in our revenues and expenses, total expenses and net income also change so that we know that everything is working the way it should. I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to the to date and I'm just going to randomly check, I don't know, see the 15th of the month. Okay, so we'll run this report from the 1st to the 15th. Select generate report. Okay, we can see now that the income statement is telling the user, hey, you're looking at the 1st to the 15th, which is really vital because A, you can see what you're looking at, but also if you wanted to print this off or save it as a PDF, it's on there. And of course, we can see the change in our revenue, our cost of goods and margins, all our expenses, and our net income up until the 15th was $6,400. So this is working exactly as we designed. And just flip it back to the 30th and put it up there. Now, again, with reports, you can add whatever data that you want, but this will give us our very basic fundamental income statement that is, a critical financial statement or information from any management information system that management would need as an absolute minimum. So once again, I hope you found this very helpful. Please, again, take your time. It may take a couple of times for you to get things exactly the way that you want or some of the coding to work. But again, just pause the video and just watch the details and you'll have this up and running in no time. So thanks very much and take care. And we will see you all again soon. Bye for now.